the male torso anatomy.
How does it work?
Easy! Get into my art platform, link in the description. Our body is made of layers. And what are those layers? Well, we have skin, we have veins and nerves, we have those little cables, of course, we have fat, we have muscle, and we have bones. But depending if you have a lot of fat or a lot of muscle, or you have none of both, or if you have a lot of both, it's going to change which result you're going to get right here as example. You can see in these images. Depends on how much fat, how much muscle you're going to choose for your character, for your drawing. How do we balance that? Reinforcing the basics. If you draw a lot of fat, it's going to be harder to see the format of the muscle. Maybe there's a lot of muscle below it, but the chances of you seeing exactly the flex of the muscle, it gets pretty hard. And the chances of you seeing veins, well, pretty much zero or close to it. So the opposite can also be applied. Not exactly equal, but can also be applied. How? If you have a lot of muscle, the chances of you being able to see the veins and with low fat is very high. It's absolutely high. And if you have little muscle, let's say, and little fat, you can also see the veins. It all depends on the combination of these two mainly. Of course, age is a huge factor. If your character is young, if your character is old, it's going to change how elastic the skin is. It's going to change if the skin is just falling down or if the skin is intact in place. And not only that, as you have your grandma or grandpa or have been close to anyone that is older than you, very old, you may have noticed that it's much easier to notice their veins. Why? Because the skin's like, it just goes down with gravity, so it's even easier to see and perceive all of that. And of course, bones, we can truly only see them with low amounts, muscle, fat, and skin depending on the age, of course. But bones are not only limited to that. Bones also depend if they are at the corner of your body. As example, your elbow. You're going to see your elbow with a lot of fat, a lot of muscle or not, because elbows are literally at the edge. There are those specific corners, those specific points where you're going to see it no matter what. But going back to the basics, yeah, many areas it's going to be very hard to see the bones because this middle area right here is going to be blocked by all of these layers. How does that apply to male torso anatomy? Here, I choose this image because it shows focused in muscles, because they are the most complex part of it. Fat is easy. Bones, if you're not drawing a skeleton, it's also easy. What is the main difference that we have compared to when we were drawing the last tutorial, male torso? All the upper area. All this upper area right here, including the full arms, around middle here, middle of the abs, all of this upper area. It's around approximately 50% smaller than male. It's around 50% smaller.
Is this a rule, Gab? Am I going to apply this always?
No, as I'm talking right here, everybody, there are many types of body. We are first talking about the standard base for you that are starting out, that do not want to get lost, and then we are going to talk about all of the types. While this upper area has less muscle, the muscles are you got this. The same. Okay, we understand that this upper area is going to be smaller, slim. But is that the only change? No, that's not the only change. We were talking right now about muscles, but let's talk a little bit more about fat and bones. Talking a tiny little bit about bones, this area right here on the waist tends to be larger to the sides. That's why we tend to have this format on many bodies when we draw. But it's not only about the bone, it's also about the fat. There is a lot of fat accumulation in this area right here. And of course, this upper area may have less muscle, but it also has something extra, which is fat. Right here, in the boobs, breasts right here, they are above the muscle and they are made of fat. We're going to have a layer right here of fat, layer right here of fat. Depending on how much fat, it's going to fall down even lower or it's going to stay at the place even more. As we can see right here, stays more at the place because lower body fat goes down with gravity because it's literally fat. How do you want this to hold on? It's going to fall down naturally. So, remember when we talked about the bones, the fat, the muscles, if you have low accumulation of fat, boobs, are going to be smaller. Hips are going to be smaller. Upper torso, almost no fat. Belly, almost no fat. And that's a lot of muscle. And if we have a lot of muscle and little fat, guess what? We can see a lot of the bones, tendons, probably a connection between muscles and even veins depending on where we are looking at. Let's walk little by little to the side. Okay, we have more fat. What does that mean? We see less the muscles. We don't see so much of the muscles. And also hips, they get thicker. As example, boobs, they are bigger. And so on, we start little by seeing less muscle and seeing more a roundish format. Very round lines, very round and soft lines. In the male torso, we draw into a more squarish format. But remember, if you're drawing a woman that is like athlete running, you're going to use those very same, guess what? That's right, the very same more squarish format, because we can see more of the bones, more of the muscles. It all depends on the composition that you're building up. It all depends on how much you're going to get of each one of the main principles that we talked right here. If we go down here into even more fat accumulation, we are going to see another force have more impact into it, which is gravity. If you have a lot of gravity, if you have something that it's going to get affected by gravity, as example, hair, my hair right now, if I just remove it from the bank that I did here, it's going to, wow, go down because of gravity. The same happens with fat. When you're drawing it, you're focusing on everything falling down. It's not going to accumulate in the middle of the belly. No, it's going to accumulate lower. This is the case of high fat and not as high on muscle. But what if these girls had high fat and high muscle also below? Well, this image can reply. She's high on muscles and high on fat. Is it more on place? Yes, it's more on place. It's staying more into the specific area. It still falls down, but not as much compared to this one that it is focused on fat. This one is focused muscle and fat. It's very small differences. Very small differences. That's why we gotta study and grab references all the time that we can. Now we're talking about those. Let's go and draw. I'm going to draw in black and white, and we are going to pass it to colors later on. My main objective here is to first understand gesture and then add the mass, volume, bones, whatever it is, and then start to go like shadow light, shadow light, shadow light. I'm analyzing because it's interesting that it's not only you drawing. You gotta always take a moment, step out, and see what is going to be your next step, like your next plan. And I'm not being ultra judgmental at the start, and I do not want you to be ultra judgmental on your start, because you're still setting up the base of the house. This time, I just want you to try to analyze if the overall proportions are right. If no place is like, oh, this area right here, this area is too big, maybe it would be better if we just made it smaller. Let's go and make it smaller, just overall size. If you ever have trouble drawing boobs, here format, here to here. This one is stretched, so roundish format right here. Up here we got the collarbone. Collarbone, which is a little wing of a bird. We could think of wings of a bird, okay? Do you see this area? It's stretching so much. Do you know what it means? It means that we're going to see a lot there. Because if it's stretching, it means that we can see a lot more. Like, if the skin is stretching, we're gonna see more of the muscles, more of the bones. Anything that is going on right here, we are going to have a much more clear view than on the opposite side. And it's exactly because it's stretching, it's like we are trying to zoom in into that area. Because if we keep that into mind, we understand it, oh, okay. Basic on these principles, if it's stretching a lot, we're gonna take a look even closer. Now, do you want to see the very real test? Flip your canvas. Flip your canvas. If you approve after flipping, it's good. Okay, I do approve. Now that we have drawn the overall gesture, we're gonna start adding the details right now. I want to do this in incredible type of light, so none of you ever get lost of How would this work? If I show this with a strong type of light, let's say a bit of difficult type of light, it's going to be easy for you all to understand whenever we draw anything that's even more simple and easy. Is that I didn't understand that it's not only about drawing the main shadow and drawing the overall body format, but there is small things going on. Small things which are pretty much the muscles and bones that create small variations in the shadows. As example, let me tell to you right now that all of this area is going to receive a tiny little bit amount of shadows. All of this area, Gabs, yes, all of this area. Why? Because this is the chest, remember? There's fat right here, but there's something below that fat, and that thing is muscle. And since the fat's falling down, this upper area here has what? The muscle and the bones. So it means that we are going to see a little bit more of that. And just like in this reference, where we can see the extra bright area is right here, and the not so bright area is to the corner on the left, that's what we are going to do. And by the way, I want you to maintain the focus that I am using in reference. I'm not taking all of this from my head. I do not recommend anyone here doing all of this from your head. Be wise and use reference. This is going to save your time. This is going to save you from a tons of stress. The very same thing we did with the chest area, we're going to do with the abs. We're going to add strong and dark shadows. All of the shadows right here, I want them to go darker. Let's make them dark in the middle areas. And why that? Because this means we are having a reflection going on, and I absolutely love reflections inside of shadows. Remember, we are not drawing a body focused on muscles or bones appearing the most. We're making a body focused more into fat being the #1 hero here, and if it's fat, you gotta have a lot of soft curves. If you're feeling that your drawing is not going the way you want it, maybe the lines are too hard, I'm using a full soft brush. If you gotta take one thing from today's class, is making it soft, but it's not only that. It's about taking your time. Now I want to show my technique of painting, which is clicking here and going to curves. Each software has its own curves too. This is going to open, and now we're going to paint it with curves. I'll be changing the channels red, blue and green to get into what is desired right here. And if you want to learn even more with me, link in the description for my art course, which you can learn with me all of these techniques and also have this full recorded class right there. Thank you very much for being here. You are amazing, and I will be seeing you in the next one. All the love, all the peace. You know where to find me. You're not alone in your artistic journey. You have guidance, you have support, and let's keep on moving. Bye bye.